It's Tom and Todd's Face Off on WRKO.com.
Believe it or not, a special edition of Face Off. It's Whitey Week. It's all Whitey, and this is Whitey Face Off with Tom and Todd.
Are you surprised that Whitey Bulger was arrested so easily?
Yes, I am. From all the reports we had from his henchmen and his lieutenants, Whitey would never go down quietly. He was never going to go back to prison. And, of course, we find out more than 30 weapons in the apartment, and yet he apparently kind of either was tricked out of the apartment but surrendered peacefully. Not even a good punch thrown at an FBI agent, just kind of a meek acceptance.
I pictured sort of an elderly James Bond thing going on with a walker that had special buttons with special weapons that would shoot and, you know, maybe he could fly in one of those.
I love your imagination. That is a cool one. A James Bond walker.
What happens to 007 when he's 90?
That's right. Yeah, that's true. The technology has to help.
Yeah, you got to modernize with the times. Anyway, it was a bit of a disappointment. We were looking for a big shootout, Bonnie and Clyde kind of thing.
A little Jimmy Cagney thing would have been great. You'll never get me alive, copper.
You doity rat. You doity rat.
Do you honestly believe that Whitey's brother, former Senate President Billy Bulger, didn't know his brother's whereabouts?
I, for one, think that Billy knew nothing about his brother Whitey. Didn't know the kind of business he was in. Heard maybe that he'd robbed a candy machine once. But beyond that, really paid no attention and had no understanding. You on the same wavelength, Tom?
Kind of on the same wavelength. I believe that he knew nothing about it and that he understood that his brother was not an angel and had not chosen the path that most of us follow, but that he wasn't going to inquire deeply into the specifics and maybe hope that his brother would come back as a more legitimate person, but did not feel a sense of obligation to go into all the details of his life.
Yeah, that's what I think.
There are a lot of conspiracy theories floating around regarding the FBI and Whitey Bulger's capture. Do you buy into any of them?
Well, I do notice that the public sentiment, at least as people expressed it to us on the show yesterday, and as I talked to people, and my wife came home last night, she said, nobody's buying this FBI story. Nobody else.
Oh, really?
Did.
You didn't tell us that?
Nobody else.
So Donna's not a believer?
Oh, Donna said, wow. Of course, no, she was listening to radio shows and other hosts as well.
But that will throw you off.
She was out to dinner with friends and people in the restaurant. Nobody's buying it. I mean, the poor FBI, here I am expressing some sympathy, but it seems to me good agents made a good faith effort and they finally landed them in, and everybody's saying, well, why didn't you do it 4 years ago? Why didn't you run the ad about Catherine Grigg?
That's a good question. Are you mocking that question? That's a good question. What, it suddenly occurred to them that she was the weak link? I mean, if you're going to go out on the lamb and you're going to bring a broad, you know, you're putting yourself in danger.
Oh, geez.
The broad goes to the store to pick up the cigarettes. She flirts with somebody for a few minutes. Next thing you know, the cops are at the door.
Oh, my. No, I think there's a new generation of agents that were determined to cleanse the system of all the poison that had been built up.
And what they thought up was do a PSA. Ooh, they just invented PSAs, I guess.
Isn't that a test for prostate?
Are you sick of Whitey yet? Well, you're not alone. Next week, we'll do a Whitey-free zone, maybe. We'll see. Tom and Todd's Face Off, WRKO.com.